The woman went on a week-long trip with her male best friend. When she returned home, she found she couldn't open the door. Seeing an unfamiliar couple inside the house, the woman finally realized that the house had already been sold by her husband. Looking at the watch the hostess handed to her, it was exactly the one she had lost. At this moment, the woman finally understood that her husband already knew the truth, but all of this had to be traced back to a week earlier. The woman was originally the eldest daughter of a wealthy family. In order to test her husband's sincerity, she deliberately joined hands with their daughter and her husband's friend, Owen, to stage for the man this 5-year-long love drama. They told the man that their daughter was sick and needed a large sum of money. To make money, the man even carried coffins for others, but the money they asked for kept increasing, from the initial $50,000 to the current $800,000. The man had no choice but to take on more work. Until this day, when the man went to the hospital to visit his sick daughter, he finally learned that her illness was nothing but a lie. Thinking about how, for his daughter, he had knelt down and begged the director, only to be met with their distrust, the man felt a wave of disappointment. When he heard his wife telling him not to pay the surgery fees, he thought his wife had come to her senses. But Owen, standing by, began to worry that the man had only been pretending to work hard and wanted him to continue paying the remaining $200,000 in medical bills. Even their daughter expressed her disgust, saying she didn't want him as her father, and bluntly stated that living with him would bring her a curse. The man left the ward in disappointment, but at the hospital trash can, he saw the gift he had once given his wife, the watch he had spent all his salary on to buy for her. At that moment, the man once again heard his wife's voice. He quickly hid the watch. Hearing his wife's questions, the man only said that he missed them, so he came back early to see them. But as soon as he entered the ward, he saw his indifferent daughter and Owen interacting intimately. Seeing how she rushed nervously just because Owen knocked over a bottle of water, his wife hurried to him. The man felt like he was the unnecessary one, so he lied, saying he was tired, and turned to leave the ward again. Noticing that something was wrong with the man, his wife quickly chased after him. When she heard that he had just returned from carrying a coffin, she let go of his hand in disgust and warned the man to treat Owen better in the future, bluntly saying that when he was not at home, it was always Owen who was helping to take care of them. Hearing the woman's words, the man only found it ridiculous. Then he casually asked, pretending it was unintentional, where the watch he had given her was, but he heard his wife lie, saying the watch was broken and had been sent to the repair shop. At this moment, the man finally realized that their so-called test was nothing more than a hypocritical excuse. In order not to arouse the woman's suspicion, the man turned around and left. When he reached the hospital corridor, he could no longer bear the exhaustion in his heart. He sat directly on the floor. Then he took out his phone and called one of his former friends to investigate his wife's identity. But the other party told him that no such person was found, and the one who actually had this identity was the eldest daughter of a wealthy family. Upon learning the truth, the man thought of how he had once, in order to marry the woman, given up his own wealthy heir identity. He felt that he was nothing more than a humble and ridiculous clown. That night, the man returned home and took out the property deed of the house. Looking at the column with his own name written as the owner, he couldn't help but recall when the two had just gotten married, his wife insisted on writing only her name. Back then, he thought it was his wife's love for him. Now, thinking about it, with his wife's true identity, she would never have cared about such a small house. So he directly contacted a real estate agent to sell the house at a low price. Even the belongings inside the house, he gave them all to the new residents. The utterly disappointed man decided to disappear from their world in 3 days and return to the life that should have been his. Just as the man was about to leave, he suddenly received a call from the kindergarten. They told him directly to attend the child's graduation ceremony. Thinking that they would never meet again after this, the man agreed to attend the ceremony. The next day, as soon as the man arrived, he heard his daughter proudly praising her dad. He thought his daughter was talking about him, so he happily stepped forward to greet her, but he was met with his daughter's indifference. Yet when his daughter saw Owen, she ran enthusiastically to his side and told everyone that she didn't know the man standing in front of her. At this moment, a parent, hearing the noise, walked over. They assumed the man was a human trafficker trying to take the child. They immediately wanted to call security to take the man away, but Owen pretended to be kind, explaining to the crowd that the man was just a coffin carrier. Hearing about the man's identity, the crowd instinctively moved away from him, afraid that he might pass on the curse he carried to them. The daughter even threw a pair of scissors at the man, causing him to cut his arm. At this moment, the woman also appeared before everyone and explained to the parents that the man was just a relative of the family's nanny. Because the child had once been lost, his mind was a little unstable. Then, before the man could react, she pulled him out of the school. Hearing his wife's questioning, the man was just about to explain that it was Owen who said that about his identity, but his wife didn't believe him and even thought he had embarrassed their daughter at the kindergarten. The man looked at his wife in shock, because this job she despised so much was the very job he took to gather money for the medical bills, and it was introduced to him by his wife. At that time, she had even said that there was no right or wrong in any profession, but now she despised it with all her heart. Seeing the two of them quarreling in anger, Owen, pretending to be concerned, walked over with the child, pretending to be angry and accusing the man of not being supposed to come to the kindergarten, and even brought up the $200,000 of medical expenses that had not yet been paid. At that moment, the sky suddenly poured down with heavy rain, as if sympathizing with the man's misfortune. But the man felt a bit of happiness, because the car his wife drove today was finally not the broken car she usually used to fool him with, but a limited edition sports car. This was the first time she hadn't deceived him. Watching the few of them about to leave, the man immediately stepped forward to block the car, and bluntly said he still had a few words to say to his daughter. Looking at the daughter he had lived with for 5 years, the man still wanted to pat her head, but was met with his daughter's disdain. The man could only pretend not to care, and reminded his daughter never to throw scissors at others again. Then he let them leave. Watching the luxury car's departing figure, the man finally let go completely. He no longer fantasized about things that didn't belong to him. He pulled out the SIM card he had used for 5 years, as if treating it like a worthless love, and threw it harshly into the rain.